All right. Hey, everyone. Josh at Prehired here, and I've got Daniel Ward in San Diego, California. And Daniel's been through our program. He's been hired, and we want to hear all about that. So enough about me. Daniel, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background before you got into software sales.
Yeah, I mean, Josh, I come from well, I should say first, I got into sales because I was unqualified really to make money elsewhere. And so I got married, started a family, and I needed to really make some money. So how I first got into sales was doing door-to-door sales, selling essentially TV, internet, and phone. Did that for, enough time to know that that's no fun, and I kind of want to get out of that. It's very hard work. So then I went to the business side, and then essentially scaled up from there. And then I started about a year doing that. And then I started selling digital advertising for another company. And, that's kind of where my business career began, kind of starting selling door to door, went to businesses, then kind of selling more commodities, more marketing type stuff.
Okay. So bringing us up until, and I love how you said I kind of fell into sales. I didn't really choose it. It chose me out of necessity because it's kind of funny. I think that was half my story too. I kind of fell into it because I needed a job during college, and I'd been trained in some form of sales, working in the family business. So I was just like, well, I guess I can do this because it beats working at Starbucks, or whatever. So I kind of fell into it, but then I grew to love it when I was in there. So I think we all relate because that's the story. It's we either fell into sales or we chose it. But I think a lot more people just fell into it, and then hopefully they fall in love with it once they start, or they end up hating it because they don't know what they're doing. But going back to you, man, you found Prehired. You had been in sales already for a while. What were you thinking though when you stumbled upon what we were doing?
Yeah, so what I initially was thinking is it true, right? Can you kind of the guarantee you guys were saying, $100,000 a year job in six to 8 weeks, right? It's kind of like the guarantee and the promise. That was cool, but what I was really looking forward to and kind of interested in was actually the teaching process of it all, and kind of understanding the tools that you would use to sell software. So that way, when you get the actual gig, like you can jump in day one and be ready to go. So that's really what interests me. And that's kind of what caught my attention about it. It's not just information on how to get a job in software, but tangible tools to be able to show up to a software sales job and say, hey, here I am. I can do this, and I can do this and this. And let me work for you. And that's essentially what attracted me to Prehired.
Well, I'm glad that you got that distinction in the beginning, because you would not believe how many people, because right now we have around 2,000 applications a month. And so many people think it's about resumes, or I'm not where I should be in my sales career because I just don't interview well, and they think that we're going to help them with their resumes or their interviews. And when they get into a interview with us for their admissions interview, they're shocked sometimes to learn that it has nothing to do with your interviewing skills. It has nothing to do with your resume. I mean, don't get me wrong. Everyone can. We talk about how to improve those areas. But the big part of it is you don't know how to prove to a sales manager that you are the best person to do the job that they have, because you don't know what the job entails. You know what your past jobs entail, selling in that industry, using that sales process. And so I love the fact that you're like, I want to learn that process. I want to learn actually how to do the job, not just a quick fix to get me in the door, get my foot in the door, and I'll kind of like charm my way in, but I want to learn how to do this really well. So you did the program. You learned the program very well because you had a great offer at a great team. What were some of the things that stuck out to you though in that process of getting certified or going through all the material in the program? Was it what you expected? What stood out? What'd you like? Just curious to share your thoughts with everyone.
Joshua, there's a great chasm right now between the old sales world, the ABC, always be closing, and then there's these other people who are social sellers. And so there seems to be a camp of either one or the other. And so what I really liked about the program is it kind of bridged those two gaps, but also it gave some modern, I guess what it did, it respected the new buyer process. And instead of just picking up the phone, cold calling, which is what I'm used to doing, making 100 calls a day and just dial, smile and dial. It was more, I could automate these basic steps to be able to really get some results and then I can kind of figure out who's engaged, who's not engaged, and then target them even more. So that's what I was really impressed with and really wanted to learn, which some of the tools and the program definitely taught me how to do that.
Yeah, and you know what? You're right. Like so many salespeople are used to hearing sales managers tell them, you know, the ABCs of selling is always be closing or copies for closers. You got to earn your copy. Like, and it's all this hyped up BS. And sales nowadays, if you're still living in the world where you think always be closing is actually a good thing, you're probably really struggling and not very good at what you do as a salesperson, because we believe, and as you know, is always be helping. That's our mantra, because at the end of the day, for everyone listening, this is turning into a little coaching moment, is because Daniel already knows this, but I was just talking this on another call too, with the sales manager at a tech company. We were talking about mindsets, and we don't talk about that enough in sales sometimes, because it's easy to go to the mindset part of like, let's get motivated. Come on, get on the phones, like blah, blah, blah. No, not that type. Just a good mindset of your mission in sales is not to close people. Like so many people think I've got to close. Like it's my job to close. Yeah, you need to make money for your company and do your job. But actually your goal should be to help someone, help others. And you should be so focused on and understand the type of person that you can help, like the type of company, the type of person that works at the company, what's their title, what's their day like. You are just so in tune with who they are and what they need that you can just approach those people, those strangers, and say, listen, I kind of get where you're at. Here's how I think I can help you. What do you think? And again, it comes from helping others, always be helping. A byproduct of always be helping and not always be closing, a byproduct of helping is you sell things. You sell your product, you sell your service, and you make money. That is a byproduct. So it's not, the goal is not to close. The goal is to help, and the byproduct of helping is closing a deal and making money. So money comes, and this goes back to like something Zig Ziglar says, is if you can help enough people get what they want, you'll always be able to get what you want. And that's the thing that I think most salespeople need to have. And I love that, Daniel, you definitely have that attitude, or from the get-go. That's one of the things I remembered about your admissions interview was you definitely had the right attitude and mindset. I'm just like, all right, this guy, he just needs to understand the other parts of the tools, the skills, the workflows that's entailed in all the job. And then once we show him how to do it, he's already got the right mindset. Because if you don't have the right mindset, and if you don't change that real fast, it doesn't matter what type of training you get or mentor you get. You could have freaking Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk training you and mentoring you one-on-one. And if you don't have the right mindset, you're not going to do anything with all that. So in Coaching Minute Rant, I just had to say that because you sparked me. You just ignited me right there, Daniel, when you said that.
What I'll say is the reason why I may have had the right mindset is because I did the most purest form of sales you could, show up at someone's door unannounced and cold call. And you get the cops called on you, dogs chased on you, people pushing you. I mean, every form of reaction you could get from someone, the good, the bad, the indifferent, I would receive that just face to face. And so, you know, I did not need to be convinced that there should be a better way, because I mean, I was living it and breathing it. So it's like I was looking for any way other than what I was currently doing, which is it's almost torture.
You know what? Let's not move on from that just yet. You made a great point. It feels bad to work in sales when you feel like the people that you talk to day in and day out don't appreciate what you're doing. Like that is devastating. I mean, if you had to put up with people all the time, just tired of seeing you, like go away, like treating you poorly, that means something is wrong. Like, don't get me wrong, not everyone's going to buy, but there's something wrong when most of the people or a lot of the people that you approach are not interested in buying from you. That tells me you don't understand your customer good enough if that happened. Now, I'm not saying you, Daniel, but your company and like all people, because salespeople are listening right now and they get exactly what you're saying, because we've all been there where we are trapped in an old thinking. Zig Ziglar says stinking thinking. We're trapped in this old mindset of what worked yesterday should work today without looking at the facts or the data. And so if you're in that trap, I want to go ahead and tell you there is hope. Be encouraged that it's not you probably. Like we all have to work on ourselves, but it's probably has to do with your approach. You don't understand the customer well enough. You're targeting people who shouldn't be targeted, or your messaging is not aligned to them. But if you're having the problems that Daniel just brought up, that's what it is. It's probably not you, and it's fixable. So don't feel bad. Don't quit sales, because I remember when I was I thought about quitting sales because I was so devastated after just rejection after rejection. People did not appreciate what I was doing, and they definitely made it very well known to me with explicitives and other threats. So that led me also to figuring out there had to be a better way. What is it? So, man, thanks for sharing that here with everyone, Daniel.
And to kind of belabor the point, you have a manager who reaffirms that you need to go out there and knock more doors. You need to go out there and hey, you feel bad getting beat up by these customers? Well, you need to do it more. If you're really serious about this, you're really good. You should be able to get that person who tells you to F off to convince him to be able to close.
Isn't that the definition? That's the definition of sanity, right? Like doing the same thing over and over, but expecting different results. So the managers actually say, hey, our methodology here for sales is insanity, textbook insanity. Let's keep doing more of the same, and it's going to somehow make everything better. I love that.
And this is why people think they hate sales, and then they're never good at sales, and this is why so many people burn out. So you have this, and that's why what I mean by the old way and the new way. So you just got to get around. What I'd say is get out of, there is a solution, but also get around the right type of people who understand there's a new buying process that customers use.
Yep. And you know what? It works for you because you now are you use everything you learned in the program with science-based sales to get your own job now. So tell us, what was that like for you getting hired and using what you learned to show you're the best person for the job? Like, speak to that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, really what kind of solidified me the job is the CEO asked me to give like a little mock presentation on what I would come in doing day one. And it pretty much just copied the sequencing steps from pre-hired and just said, here you go. Here's what I would do. I do this, this, and this in this order. And they liked that. Like, wow, this is really what we were looking for. And we were pretty aligned in what I proposed versus what they thought someone could do. So it was really kind of cool. And we were just talking about pure ideas on how to be able to implement this, not, spamming people essentially.
Yes.
Whether it be through calls or through emails.
And what's, go ahead and tell us too, what's the company name? What's your title? What do you kind of do there? And what are you looking forward to doing or currently doing now that you're 2 weeks into the company to grow the sales? Just tell us a little bit, because you're kind of the go-to person now for sales development. Like, you're the main person. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I'm with a company called Reachify. We literally have 8 employees, and essentially this is somewhat of an old company, but there's been many iterations. Essentially what the iteration now has been in about 3 months of inception as far as the actual viable product. It's a way to unify all types of communication, and who right now we're going after people in the mind body space, and mind body is a software for gyms to be able to track their classes and all that fun stuff there. So all to say is we're going after a very specific type of market. Once we've kind of went down that route, we want to go to more doctors, lawyers, anyone in a service / client facing business. Really, that's kind of what we want to, who we go after. But right now we're just going after mind body customers and targeting gyms, fitness studios, yoga studios, Pilates studios, ballets, places. It doesn't matter. We go after them. What's it been like, 2 weeks in? It's been really cool because I've been able to pick kind of my own tech stack, right? Which I didn't know really what that was before pre-hired. So I was able to have a repertoire of tools to be able to bring in. I implemented probably like 90% of the tools from pre-hired over to this current job right now. And I am in a unique situation because I can kind of control what tools we use, which is really cool. But I got some tools, started running a sequence, and I actually just hopped off a demo with one of the clients that I essentially got through a sequence that we were running. And I was talking with the CTO on how to be able to make our product that much better. So it's really a collaborative process, and I have a lot of control, I have a lot of creativity, and I can execute, kind of how I want to execute, while also being very nimble as well, which is really, really cool.
And that's what you wanted too. I mean, and that's the thing that I love that you were able to do is most people, and this is more of a teaching moment for everyone else, Daniel, because you know this, but most people just apply the jobs in their area. They go on Indeed or Craigslist, and they just start submitting hundreds of applications only to hear back from the ones that are really not the companies they want to be working for, and they settle for just any other job because they got to pay the bills at some point. You got to choose something. And so what you did, though, is you didn't do what most people are doing, and you chose the companies that you thought would be a good fit based on the type of company. Like, you just defined exactly, like where you want to work. You're like, I wanted to be in a company that was not too big, it was smaller. You know, it was, it would have like, let me have a say so on how to build a process. It'd be collaborative. Like literally 90% of the things you've been suggesting, you're almost done implementing your first 2 weeks. Like, and that's really what you were looking for. And also the pay, it doesn't hurt that the pay is great too, right? So, I mean,
Yeah.
I love that. And that's really what it's all about, is finding a job that you like and it fits what you're looking for your career goals. And you can really make an impact with what you're doing. And it's obvious that, that's, you're kind of on that path, man. And as you already know, I'm looking forward to talking with you down the road and helping you if you need anything else, as well as when you grow in this role, and probably start hiring in your own sales reps under you as well for any future pre-hired members listening to this video. By the time you watch this, he may be the manager. You might want to be looking up to see if he's got any jobs for you. Daniel, the last thing I want to ask you though, before we head out, is we've got like a lot of people on our list. They get our newsletter for sales tactics 1 or 2 times a week. And but for whatever reason, a lot of them just haven't signed up, and they're just on the fence. They're like kind of getting maybe some stuff out of what we're telling them. What would you say to someone that really is kind of nervous, but they're interested in changing their career, they're interested in getting software sales, and they're just kind of on the fence that are talking with us about how this all works? What would you say to that person right now?
Yeah, I mean, essentially what you're doing when you really apply and get admitted in the process of pre-hired is you're buying time. And what do I mean by that? Because I have been the guy who has just went on Indeed, went on Craigslist, and just applied for stuff with one. It's so easy now to apply to stuff with one click, and I've applied to hundreds and hundreds of jobs, get phone calls that don't go anywhere. I just hit my head up against the wall, not finding what I'm looking for. Essentially what you're doing is you're buying time to be able to shortcut that process with a couple tweaks to what you're already doing to be able to really explode. And my wife asked, with pre-hired, were you happy that you did it, And because we paid for it all up front. We didn't do the payment plan. We just kind of just took from our savings, just boom, and paid for it. And I said, yeah, I mean, without what I learned at pre-hired, I would not be able to have this job, but also implement a process when I come in from day one on what to do. I would just be like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And because with my role as a startup right now, like they're looking to me to be the subject matter expert and say, okay, what do you think we should do? And so I can't go to anyone and say, hey, what am I going to do? They're going to tell me like, it's your job, you figure it out. So without pre-hire, without the information that I learned, I would not have been able to be here where I'm at today. So really, I mean, if you're thinking about it, if you've thought about it, you have enough time, you've been thinking about this forever, just do it. Buy yourself a shortcut into getting where you want to be. If you want to be in software sales, this is the best place. This is the best place to do it. It teaches you really the tools to be able to understand it and get the job you're looking for.
Daniel, thanks for sharing your experience, man. Looking forward to catching up with you in the near future.
For sure, man. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.